Hello my friends, welcome to Yoga with Rose. This is your practice for lower body release. Throughout this practice, we'll be focusing on yoga asanas and stretches to release any tension out of the lower body, the hips, the legs, starting to stretch out the hamstrings. So grab some blocks, roll out your mat, and if you're ready, let's begin. Okay, my friends, come to start at the back of your mat. And we'll just open our knees a little bit wide and walk the hands forward to your child's pose, relaxing the body through the legs. You can relax the forehead onto the mat and just take a moment to settle in, gently relaxing the body down towards the floor and starting to open up the hips slightly. Good, soften the muscles in the legs, in the thighs. And then when you're ready, start to curve up through the spine onto all fours to our tabletop position. On an inhale now, raising the right leg up to the sky. And then as you exhale, draw the knee to the right elbow, and we're going to step the foot to the outside of the right foot. Good, both hands on the inside of the foot and just have a little sway from side to side as we come to our lizard pose. You can turn the toes to face out a little bit to just give yourself a little bit more space. Close your eyes. Good, and just gently moving into that space in our hips here, just starting to open up. And breathing in through the nose and back out through the nose. Good, then either staying on your hands, if you want to come in a little bit deeper, just lowering perhaps your forearms to the floor. Maybe you've got blocks underneath them. Good. Notice any tightness here, perhaps in the hips. Try not to hold on to anything or grip. Use your exhales, use your breath to let go a little bit each time. Good. And then we're just going to take a little twist here. So maybe coming back up onto the hands as you inhale, reaching the right arm to the back as we open up the body as well. Good, twisting over the right shoulder. You can raise the left foot off the floor, seeing if you can take hold of it with the hand if that feels good. And perhaps drawing the heel towards your glute. Start to get into that left hip flexor, that left quad as well. Good, keep using your breath. And then release the leg, reaching the arm back over, plant the right hand down. And we'll bring the right leg back, send the hips back to your wide-legged child's pose. Good, body relaxes in between the legs again, knees nice and wide. And then when you're ready, curving back up to your neutral position. Take an inhale to raise the left leg off the floor. And then as we exhale, bending the leg, placing the foot on the outside of the left hand. Lovely, just turning the left toes out a little bit and the knee, perhaps to create a little more space. Have a gentle rock. Starting to open up in the hips, starting to release the lower back. Good, and then coming down to the elbows or the forearms, if that feels good. If not, staying up on your hands or on some blocks. And I just invite you to close your eyes here, my friends. Just delve inside a little bit. Notice where you feel the stretch the most. Breathe into it with your breath. And then coming back onto the hands, if you're not already, take a big inhale now to reach the left arm back to the back of the mat. Twisting your body, looking over the left shoulder. Starting to come into that right hip flexor here. And again, if you want to bend the right knee, perhaps taking hold of the foot and starting to draw the foot into the glutes. Good, keeping the body, the chest nice and open. And then releasing the leg, bringing the arm back over, plant the left hand down. Send the left leg back to the right and take the sit bones back to your child's pose. Good, just have a little sway from side to side here. Just take a little stock of how you feel. And then when you're ready, curve the body up to your tabletop position, tuck the toes underneath, and then start to raise the hips up, sending the body back to your thighs, to your downward facing dog. Lovely, my friends. Have a really good pedal out here. Starts to stretch out all down the backs of the legs, the calves, the hamstrings. Bend one leg at a time. Nice and slowly. Starting to warm up those legs. And then as you're pedaling here, just start to walk the feet forward as we make our way to meet our hands at the top of our mat. Good. Soften in the knees when you get there. Take the feet a little bit wider than hips width apart, and then just soften the body over the legs. You can take hold of opposite elbow, have a little sway from side to side. Good, lovely. Come to some stillness. Now bring the fingertips down to the mat, and we're going to turn the toes to face out as we lower the sit bones down to our yogi squat, our asanas. You know this one well. Have a nice sway from side to side if that feels good. Remember, you can grab your block or your cushion just to give you some support. And then perhaps finding a little bit of stillness wherever feels right for you. Maybe bringing the elbows out into the legs, palms come to touch at heart center. Good, opening up the hips even more here. Think of drawing the tailbone down towards the floor at the same time as elongating through the back of the neck. And then when you're ready, release the hands down, start to raise the tailbone up as we walk the feet in, to hips width apart. Lovely, just start to pedal out the legs where you are, so just bending one knee at a time and straightening the other as much as you can. Let the head hang heavy. And then we're going to keep the left leg nice and straight now. Keep the right one bent as we plant the right hand down on the floor and take an inhale to reach the left hand up to the sky. You're going to start to feel that stretch all the way down the back of the left leg, the left hamstring, the calf, perhaps into the lower back as well. Good, open the chest. And then start to soften in the left knee as we take a step back with the right leg, keeping our twist here to come into our runner's twist. Lovely, my friends. Good, take one more inhale in here. And then as you exhale, dropping the right knee to the mat, start to swing the left knee underneath. As we inhale, raise both hands up to our low lunge pose. Good, tuck the tailbone underneath here. You can untuck the back toes if that feels nice. And then draw your hands down to your heart center. You can interlace them and pop them on your thigh. Perhaps pushing into the thigh here, almost away from it to tuck the tailbone underneath. Coming into the right hip flexor. Woo. Good, take one more inhale here, my friends. Maybe take the hips a little bit forward and down. And then as we exhale now, bring the hands to the floor as we send the hips back, flexing the front foot to come to our half split pose. Lovely, think of squaring off the hips here, so almost pulling the left hip crease back, so they're nice and parallel to the front of the mat. Delving deep into our hamstring. And just return to your breath in this pose. Use your exhales to soften and surrender, maybe fall a little bit further towards that left leg. You can take a big exhale out of the mouth if this helps. Good, lovely. From here, start to walk the hands forward, rolling through the left foot. And we're going to guide the right leg underneath us now as we sit back onto our sit bones. From here, bring the right foot out now, knee facing up to the sky. And we're going to cross the left leg over the right thigh into our figure of four. Good, just have a little play around here where your hands want to be. Just making sure our left foot is nice and flexed. We're just gently guiding the left knee out. You can do this with your hand if that feels nice. Both sit bones nice and grounded. Good, and try and open the chest if you can, drawing the shoulders back. The shoulder blades are kissing together. The closer your body is, the closer your sit bones are towards your grounded foot, then the more intense this hip stretch is going to be. So just have a play around. And breathe where you are. Good, lovely, my friends. From here, just gently extending the underneath leg. Either keeping this leg where it is on top of the thigh, just make sure it's not on the knee, or perhaps guiding the foot around to the outside of the right hip to come to our half cow face legs. So knees are perhaps in a line. You might want to place a cushion underneath here and soften into the right knee just so we're not hyperextending. You could perhaps bring your hands underneath. Take an inhale to grow nice and tall, and if you want to forward fold with me, exhale to slowly hinge at the hips, folding the body over. Good. Now this is quite an intense stretch in the right leg, so right hamstring, IT band, at the back of the knee as well. So just be aware of all this. Don't push your body too much. Remember, listen to your body. Keeping that right foot nice and flexed. This is also great for releasing our lower back. Good, lovely, my friends. When you're ready, start to walk the hands back in. We're going to release the left leg from on top as we swing both legs round, coming to our tabletop position. And then when you're there, tuck the toes underneath and send the sit bones nice and high to your downward facing dog. Good, have a little pedal here. A little notice how you feel. And then start to walk the feet back to the front of the hands, to meet the hands, front of the mat, to meet the hands. Good, and then again, start to bend one knee at a time, pedaling out those legs. This time stopping with the right leg nice and straight, plant the left hand down, and as you inhale, reach the right hand up to the sky. Good, feel that stretch all the way down the right side of the leg. Maybe into the lower back, push away from the floor with the hand. And then soften in the right knee as we step the left leg back long into our twisted lunge. Good, lovely, my friends. Take one more inhale in here. And then as you exhale, lower the left knee, swinging the right arm back and through as you inhale, rising up to our low lunge. Good, untucking the back toe if you want to here. And then drawing the hands down to your heart or interlacing them and pressing the thigh away from you. Tuck the pelvis underneath. Ooh, feel that lovely stretch in the left hip flexor. Again, if you want a little bit more, just send the hips forward and down. Make sure the right knee is on top of the right ankle and not shooting forward of it. Good, take one more inhale in here. And then exhale, plant the fingertips down as we send the hips back, flexing and straightening the front leg to our half split. Square off those hips. Right toes are pointing up to you. And then again, come back to your breath here. It's quite an intense hamstring and calf stretch. Use your exhales to soften. Use your inhales to create space, maybe come away a little bit. Let your body relax over the leg. Great, my friends. Then walking the hands forward, rolling through the right foot. And then we're gathering the left leg in as we come to sit down. Nice, planting the left leg on the floor now, knee facing up as we cross the right one over in our figure of four. Right foot is nice and flexed, protecting that knee. Good, and then just try and sit up with an open chest as much as you can. Gently guide the knee out. Just notice if one side is different to the other. This side for me is especially tight and a little bit restricted actually, so just try and breathe into it, try and accept where you are. That's exactly what I'm doing right now, my friends. Good, and then when you're ready, lengthening, straightening out the left leg as we draw the right foot round to the outside of the left hip. Perhaps the knees come into alignment. Don't worry if they don't. You can grab a block underneath. Take an inhale to grow tall through the spine. And then exhale to hinge at the hips as we fold over. Good, now you should be able to feel a stretch pretty much as soon as you're there. Again, use your breath to move into this pose a little bit deeper. Try not to hold on to anything, try not to tense. Notice as your body starts to surrender and let go. Good, then walking the hands back up Bringing the right foot off, stretching it out long as we swing the legs round to the right this time. Coming to our tabletop. Tuck the toes underneath and then send the sit bones high, downward facing dog. Have a nice pedal of those legs, swaying from side to side. And then come to find a little bit of stillness. As you inhale now, raise the right leg to the sky. Exhale, shift forward, knee comes to the right wrist. And then we're going to flare the foot to the left wrist as we come down to our pigeon pose. Coming into the hips a little bit more now, just square off those hips again. Right foot is nice and flexed. See if you can straighten the left leg as much as you can. Don't worry if not, it can also be bent. And then take an inhale to grow tall through the spine. Exhale as we fold over the front leg. Good, this is quite a deep hip opener here, so a really important one to use your breath. Close your eyes if you can, or just soften your gaze out in front of you. Taking any exhales out of the mouth to release. Use your inhales to invite in space, in new air, and then use your exhales to move in. Lovely, start to walk the hands back in now. Tuck the back toe underneath now, pressing into the hands as we start to press ourselves up. See if you can leave the foot where it is, any amount, pressing the body back into a little bit of a fallen triangle shape. Just stretching the outside of the right leg here, the IT band, keeping the right foot on the outer edge. Ooh. This is possibly, most certainly, quite an intense stretch, so just be kind to yourself. Play around with pulling that right hip back. Working into the outside of the right leg. And then press into the hands as we bend the right knee to the nose, and then step the right leg back to join the left, downward facing dog. Ooh, lovely. Have a little sway from side to side, and then when you're ready, my friends, take an inhale to raise the left leg this time. Exhale now as we bend the knee, bringing the knee to the back of the left wrist, and then start to flare the foot round to the right wrist, lower down to your pigeon pose. Check your alignment, hips are nice and square. Find your pose on this side, and then take an inhale to grow out of the hips, and then exhale if you want to fold over the front leg. Remember, this side might be quite different, just honor where you are. Concentrate on your breath, use it to move through and a little bit deeper here. Lovely, my friends. Start to walk the hands back in towards the legs, raising the body up. Tuck the back toe underneath now. Good, raising the knee off as we press into the hands, keeping the left foot where it is. And then start to straighten the legs, sending the body back towards the left leg. Just as much as you can. Perhaps the left leg's still bent. If it is, that's okay. We're still getting that stretch down the outside. and into the lower back. Again, think of squaring off those hips if you can. Lovely. Then press into the hands now as we bend the left knee to nose and then send the leg back, downward facing dog. Have a pedal out of those feet. And then dropping the knees down, send the sit bones back to your child's pose. Knees come to touch this time. Relax the soles of your feet. And then when you're ready, slowly walk the hands into the knees as we curve up through the spine. To come to seated, take an inhale to reach the arms up to the sky, palms touch at the top. Exhale, draw them down to your heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for this lower body, hips and leg stretch. I hope that you walk out into your day feeling a little bit longer and that your legs feel stretched out and released. Thank you, my friends, from my heart to yours. This was your yoga practice for lower body, legs and hips. Namaste.